We'll throw down to him right now. Tony, you've got Andrew Crowe with you.
They do, Taya. Crowe, congratulations on a terrific win.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I mean, the boys they just come together today. They dug deep late. It's obviously been a tough week for the club, and to come out and get the results just really good.
What does this mean for the club, this win, to come into this final to win? Was there something particular that you guys wanted to really win for this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys have heard, but we had a death during the week at the club, and the kid's spirit, we definitely played with it today, and he was watching over us today, and I think he'd be pretty proud of the way the boys won. So
He sure would be. Congratulations, all the best for next week.
Thanks,
Steve, congratulations on a terrific win.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Was there what was the particular surge in those goals, especially during the third quarter, where you just came and converted so well?
We just got our runners on the outside, and we always knew if we could get on the outside of them, we could run their legs off, and we did that for probably 2 or 3 patches in the game, and we sort of scored pretty heavily in those patches. But wasn't good enough in my eyes. You know, we should have been doing that all day long, but it was pretty frustrating at times. But we got the job done, which is good.
What sort of preparation will there be for the preliminary final next week?
I don't know if you guys know, we've had a shocking week with one of our kids committed suicide at the start of the week, and we've had a terrible week, and we've got his funeral on Tuesday, Ricky Ashak, and that's going to be tough, and we'll train Wednesday and Friday, and they'll do recovery tomorrow, but you know, we're looking forward to taking on West Coburg. We match up fairly well with them, and you know, we're really looking forward to that contest, but you know, we've got some things to take care of before we get to that.
Tony, if you can hand the headset to Steve Burns, we'll ask one more question down there. Steve, on Footy Matters, you've beaten the 2 remaining teams that stand in your way to a potential premiership. What do you think the key is to repeating those recent performances where you've beaten both West Coburg and then, should things go right next week, Tullamarine in a potential grand final?
1 week at a time. I think, look, West Coburg first. As I just said, we match up pretty well with them, so I'm hoping that we can perform like we have the past 2 times, and if we do, we'll be in the game and we'll have a chance to win it. But we've got to play better than we did today. You know, we got the win, which was great, and it's been a tough week for this footy club. You know, we lost one of our great kids, and he was going to be a superstar, this kid, and to lose him and the way it all happened was tragic. And you know, for the boys to get over the line today, they showed a lot of courage. I was just so over the moon with the effort they put in.
And just last one, some of you better players today. We thought Adrian Longo was exceptional. We also thought you had plenty of winners. Mehmedi came in and really impacted the game early, even though it wasn't a 4-quarter performance. You must have been happy with the way he hit the start of the game and made an impact. Is there anyone else you'd like to single out as having played particularly well today?
Yeah, I thought Andrew Galena was outstanding in the ruck, and I also thought Mark D'Souza's second half was fantastic, especially his last quarter. But you are right, Adrian Longo is an exciting footballer, isn't he? And Adem Asani got the job done the last quarter. I asked him for a couple of goals at 3-quarter time, and he gave them to me. So, and Jackson right down back was absolutely sensational. And a couple of our key defenders got beat today, which doesn't normally happen. So I was really happy that Jackson held it together down there.
Steve, we appreciate your words. Go in and give the team talk. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the preliminary final next weekend.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
And we must stress, of course, Steve Burns making reference to the death of Rick Ashak during the week, that if you have personal problems, if you need someone to talk to, Lifeline Australia is there, 13 11 14. Lifeline Australia, the number is 13 11 14. Call, speak to someone.
Tony Lasco, you're down there with Fort Caruso.
You can read me, Adam?
Yep.
I've got you.
Fort, congratulations. You literally did fight until the very end. Terrific win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It was a very hard-fought win. Dude has kept at us all day. I thought we were in control most of the day, and we kicked away in that third quarter, and they sort of pegged a few back late in the third, which, you know, they'll win the game, right in the game in the last quarter. But to our character and credit of the boys, we stuck fat, and we got the job done in the end. A few mistakes towards the end, which could have been, you know, costly, but we got the job done, which was, you know, such an amazing feeling.
And it wasn't just winning another game today. It really was a saving game for the season. How important is this win for the Northern Saints?
Oh, it's extremely important. You know, we've been fighting all year. A few games we probably should have won and cost ourselves a few victories throughout the year. And we owed it to ourselves today to sort of, we had it in our own hands, and it was up to us if we wanted to win or not. And to our credit, we won the game, and it was either up or down. We were either back in B grade, you know, licking our wounds, or we're up here celebrating tonight, and got another chance and opportunity next year to regroup and get a few more better players and be a force next year.
Tony, can Fort hear us, or can you ask him a question on our behalf?
Yep, he can hear you,
No,
fellas.
Ford, your brother Nat kicked 2 huge goals in that last quarter. His leadership this season has been so important. What does it mean to him to stay up? And also, where were you when those 2 goals were kicked? And what does it say about your brother that when the chips were down, he stood tall and came through?
Yeah, it just shows the character of Nat as a person, as a leader, as a coach. You know, he steps up when the chips are down, when all the odds are against us. He's there fighting to the end. And you know, I can't speak more highly of Nat. He's my brother. I've always stuck by him, and he'll be celebrating tonight. Definitely, he's had a hard year coaching wise and playing as well. It's not an easy gig to coach and play at the same time, but you know, he does it extremely well. And to try and keep these boys in line, sometimes it becomes a task. But you know, to his credit, he's been calm and he's taught the boys a lot over the course of the year, and they can, not only in footy but in life in general. And you know, that's a credit to him as a young man growing into a father soon to be. You know, he's probably one of the leaders. I'm the captain, but he's a leader definitely of the club and of the playing group today.
Fort, go into the rooms, enjoy the result. A great win today, 2 points in the end, and you survive in Premier Division for another season.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
And he's joining us in the commentary box. I'll start us off. Nat, congratulations, mate, on your game personally, but more importantly, on the efforts of the club today. You guys put on an absolute spectacle for everyone here, and it must be a great feeling knowing you guys are staying up.
Oh, it always is. It's just a sign of relief. We did work hard, and credit goes to the Stars. They've been a bit unlucky throughout the year, losing by last 2 weeks they lost by a point, and throughout the year they've been a lot competitive, and we're just lucky to get the 4 points today.
And you put yourself into the ruck, did you, or you just did the right spot at the right time? There was a few ruck contests in that last quarter.
Yeah, because Moody, his old legs, we sort of just told him to stay back, and I'll take, one of the other boys, Jetta, take ruck in the forward line, so at least we can have a wall, get it back in there.
Nat, we grabbed Ford after the game as the team was walking off just for a word about what it means to the club to be staying up. This is a huge achievement. It's arguably a bigger achievement than winning last year's flag. I mean, in the immediate aftermath, where would you rate it as far as the things that the Northern Saints have done ever since forming as a club?
Yeah, the boys put a good effort today, but it's the people behind the scenes that do a great job, and it means a lot to the North Coburg boys, the Falkland Park guys. It means a lot to them. That's put in a lot of hard work, and to stay up and survive the Premier League, and we have shown that we can play some really good footy when we play 4 quarters and play footy.
Now, just looking at the game today, you've got so many exciting players. When you look at next year, have you already started to think about the way that you want to play footy and the way that you want to maybe mould the team to play maybe a more defensive brand, or you want to keep attacking? Or
we've been criticised on our defence a bit, and we do get a lot of goals scored against our forwards. There's no doubt we can kick a goal, but definitely we got to focus on our defensive side of the game. And we do have some really young, exciting players. Mo Taleb, Billy Alouche, Mick Sim, Mo Sard. We've got a lot of exciting players, and we just got another pre-season, another year in Premier League. They're just going to only get better.
And you and Fort will be part of next year? I mean, was staying up the key to going on again next season?
Either way, we went down or up or stayed. We're Northern Saints, and this is home, and this is our home, and we want a lot of success for the Northern Saints.
You speak about how tough it is at times, and the challenges that the committee faces as well. It hasn't all been rosy. There's been off-field incidents, there's been on-field incidents, and I guess it's always a matter of managing them rather than trying to cut them out completely one day. But does it personally wear on you? I mean, your job is football, but do you start to feel the pressure of all the off-field stuff and some of the on-field things that happen, or is it just a matter of dealing with it and moving through and trying to focus as much on footy as you can?
Yeah, we do put ourselves in some awkward situations, and we just got to make sure that we're in it together, and whatever happens, we move forward and learn from mistakes. We're a club, we're a multicultural club, and we do get a lot of criticism over the fence, and saying that we're thugs and stuff. But if only you just come to the club and see the club how we act. We're far from it. We're just a competitive bunch of boys, and we just hate losing.
Well, Nat, thanks so much for speaking to us. Congratulations on staying up. You're the coach, so you can keep it for yourself, or you can give it to one of your players if you feel he's worth it. The Sporting Globe Player of the Day Award, $40 to spend at 690 Mount Alexander Road. Congratulations on your performance as well, and all the best next season. Enjoy the off-season and the chance to celebrate today's result.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks.
Thanks very much to Nat Caruso, the Northern Saints playing coach, joining us here in the box. This is EDFL Review on Northwest FM at 98.9 and streaming on the web, livecast.com.au today, and also via Team. And he actually joins us on the line right now, Matthew Pillios, former EDFL board member, of course. Great to have you back on the show, and what a big day for Marby, a nervous day. How are you feeling?
It is, mate. Thank you, guys, Adem and Teo. Yeah, very nervous. I think it's been a nervous probably 6 weeks for Maribyrnong Park, knowing that they're very close to relegation. But yeah, look, personally, it's been a little bit daunting as well. I have taken a step back from the EDFL and Marby, but to know that a lot of hard work getting the club to where it was may be, a little bit hurt today. Is I probably had a sleepless night last night, to be honest, guys.
Now, Matt, before we get into the current situation and the relegation battle, one of the reasons we wanted to speak to you today is because Marby, if they do go down today, it can't all be negative. Let's talk about the journey this team went on from the bottom of the old B grade right up to the premiers of A grade. Just take us back to where it all started. What actually was the moment where Marby decided enough's enough, we're going to have a real tilt at winning the B grade flag?
Thanks, Teo. Look, it probably was late 2004. A guy named Glenn Allison contacted me, and I was actually doing the EDFL TV show back then on Channel 31, which was really popular, getting good ratings. And basically Glenn contacted me and said, look, you're at Moonee Valley playing A grade, but I know your heart's at Maribyrnong. You've got some guys there at Moonee Valley who were ex-Maribyrnong that you took away from Maribyrnong to play A grade as well. I'm thinking of coming to the club. Are you thinking of coming back? And basically I said I was, if the club were in the right direction, because I didn't want to leave playing A-grade footy as well. And Moonee Valley was sort of on the way down. So Glenn Allison and myself sort of came back to the club together, along with about 15 recruits. Marby Park in 04 had been, I think, 12 or 11th out of, I think it was second last, guys. And we basically recruited a fantastic side. We finished on top in the home and away season, but obviously, as people would probably say, or you remember, we were out in straight sets. But it was a great experience. It was the start of a journey. Glenn had finances behind him, had a bit of ego, but it was probably a great thing to happen to Marby Park, because as much as they got a lot of haters, Teo, they got their profile, and they were able to get some high-profile people like a Nathan Zarafa and Alan Nash, who came back to his junior club, which started the flow on. And we finally won that flag in 2007. We had finances and funding behind us. We actually had a good junior system in plan that was obviously being implemented. So in 2013 and 14 and 15, which has proven the last couple of years, would actually be beneficial. So the work that Glenn Allison did, along with some others back then, has just put Marby Park where they've been in the last 5 or 6 years in Premier Division.
You mentioned that 2007 premiership. When the team got promoted and was heading up to A grade, was the off-season one of we need to consolidate, just avoid relegation, or were there immediate ambitions to go on and win the premiership in A grade straight away? Like, what was that off-season like as the club finally, the reality dawned on them that they were heading up to the top division for the first time in a very long time?
Yeah, look, Marby Park were a fast-moving club with Glenn there, because Glenn had been a sort of financial backing behind Greenville, who were a lot more established. They'd won the A-grade 04 flag, and they'd started to be a powerhouse in A-grade. So we were looking at a Premier Division flag. We knew the first year up it would be tough, because Greenville, Strathmore, Keele were so established. But we had funding behind us. But the big concern, Teo, what happened at the end of 07 is we recruited a lot of older guys in 07 to help us win the premiership. And those guys decided to retire. a lot of the other guys decided not to take Premier Division knowing how strong it was, what the commitment was. And we lost 17 players out of the 22 straight out of a premiership. So that was concerning. But the good thing we had was I had a fantastic network in the EDFL because of the TV show and obviously growing up in the EDFL. And I had Glenn Ellison who had a decent checkbook where we could offer solid money. We were lucky to sign Joe Lazerti. I think he was our first recruit. And he actually networked us on the Matt Towner, who was leaving Keilor. And Towner bought Buttigieg, Kevin Michello, and Nick Bailey. All of a sudden, we picked up 4 or 5 players after losing 17 in a row. And those guys helped us network, and we picked up Crawford and a couple of others. And we ended up having a solid season. We stayed in the fall all year. And in the last game of the year, Strathmore dropped the game to Keilor, and vice versa. Keilor dropped the game at home to Strathmore. And we missed out the first year in A grade by 0.01%. It was amazing. So that year, the go in A grade just missed out. Was a good year, a lot of confidence. But everyone knew Marby was going to be having a crack at the flag. And at the end of 08, I say to everybody, with that off season where we were consolidating our first A grade year, as disappointing as was the missed finals because we spent 17 out of 18 weeks in the fall. We just learnt a lot from that, and we were hungry to win a premiership. And the pre-season of 2009 was fantastic. We recruited smartly and strategically. The only players we really picked up were we put 3 out of Williamstown, which were Jackson Barling, Kane McKenzie, and Murray Boyd, guys that you remember, Teo, no doubt. Matt Dennis, who was on the recruit, Bundoora premiership player, Josh Jones, Chris Stewart, and we got Chris Stewart late in 08, excuse me. And then obviously Brodie Holland, which I got late in just before Christmas. So picking up 6 or 7 players to that quality with a hungry list who really wanted A-grade success put us in good stead in 2009.
Matty, Adem Papal here. Great story, great history in the Maribyrnong Park.
How are you, mate? I didn't realise you were... If I did, I would have said the other god of EDFL.
Mate, Brodie Holland, he's been so good for Maribyrnong Park over the last 5 or 6 years. He goes out today. It's a big hole for Maribyrnong Park in the future. Talk us through what impact Brodie Holland's had on that club.
Yeah, it's been amazing. As we're friends, I posted something up this morning on Facebook at about 9 o'clock, and the feedback has been he's just been a phenomenal bloke. I only knew him through mutual mates. We'd met a couple of times before he came to Maribyrnong, so I knew he was a very disciplined bloke because the friend that introduced us together as a conditioning coach at Collingwood, boxing coach. One thing he used to always say about Brodie is he's him and Paul Curie are the 2 hardest workers I've ever seen. He's worked great and he's disciplined. He won't eat a piece of fat. He'll do the right thing. So I sort of had an idea of the sort of bloke he was, but the impact, the way he improved the current list that we had. Even guys like Kane McKenzie, who just missed out on getting drafted in 08, but I think Footscray talked to Western Bulldogs, spoke with him, didn't get drafted, then he thought, I'm going to decide to play local football. Jackson Barling, Murray Boyd, guys like that, Heath Ayres, who was obviously Bundoora's captain, came to Marby in 08, won the comp in 08. These guys actually became better players under Brodie because he was so professional, from a diet point of view to conditioning, to all that sort of stuff. And he's just been an unbelievable guy at the club.
And Matty,
family man.
And Matty, even to a point where I know his influence. You took Millers and your Rory Atkins and some of the kids coming through the club as well.
Correct. Yeah, look, he took Rory Atkins under his wing and helped him get drafted or introduced him to some football clubs and helped that relationship. Took Miller, he's always looked after at a younger age as well. But it's just, he's a Tassie boy, and the Tassie boys are similar to country guys, and what he's done, which I've noticed after the first year or two, he's had kids, and he's really made Marby his club, his local club. He built a house down the road. He goes there occasionally and watches the juniors on a Sunday. He invites his family and friends down the club, and he's just been massive. He's so professional, the profile of the club, and obviously the success of the club getting those back-to-back A-grade premierships.
Matty, Adrian, Jamieson, mate, how are you?
Hey, Jamo, how are you, bud?
Good. How many burgers are you going to eat today?
I haven't been down Marby Park for a long time. I think it was around 4 or 5. I snuck to a game, started a new real estate job in the city, and obviously Saturdays is their biggest day. So I'm actually actually asked the boss to knock off work at 1:32, and I will go down now to probably eat 5. So I've been training pretty hard, and I'll probably top 5 Barbie burgers today. Thanks, mate.
Now, the story you had on Gareth Daly this morning on Facebook was very interesting, like how he would give his paycheck, even though it was very minimal, back to the club, which is just shows testament to the players that you did get down to the club in that time, and that's just sensational, isn't it? It's just it just helps the club out so much.
Yeah, for sure. And look, he came. A lot of people think about Gareth Daly. They'll think, will think pretty good player, but he's a thug, a larrikin. Gareth Daly is one of those selfless blokes I've met. He grew up in a commission home. He's had a very tough background and a hard upbringing as a kid, which I sort of got to understand him at a young age. He came to Maribyrnong Park in 2003 from Port Colts, played in Port Colts grand finals, which the WRFL back then was probably on par in terms of level of standard with the EDFL, which Jamo and perhaps you'd probably agree with money back then with Hoppers Crossing and those clubs. But he came there, he said, I just want to play. You met him through a mutual mate. I think we got him for $120 a game. He followed me to Moonee Valley in 2004, which I was telling you the background player. He went and played ABO to Gareth Daly and Bangers and a couple of others, Craig Burns. But in 2005, he came back with me. He went moved in the state. He came back in 2007 for no money. He played in the B grade flag. In 2008, he played A grade again. I think he was on $150, $200 a game. But he used to donate his pay, and this was the guy brought up in commission homes to some of the juniors. He used to go down to training. He was the last person at the bay. He spent all these $150, $200 a game. I remember in 2009 when Glenn Ellison was signing on players for $3,000, and there's no lie. I'm not going to lie about it. Maybe we're getting accused of spending ridiculous money. They probably spent $200 to $220 grand that year, but they spent it smart. But guys like Gareth Daly, who kicked 7 in that grand final, which everybody remembers. I think Taylor may have been your first year then.
It was,
He was on $280 a game. He was on $280 a game that year because he just loved the club. He felt it was like his club. And this is the sort of bloke he is. He actually went to Broadford this year. He left the park in not great circumstances at the end of last year. He just missed out of playing in the premiership or preliminary final. Had an altercation which is with the coach, who's actually another good friend of mine, Mark Bullen. But he just said, look, I've had a young baby. I'm going to play for money for the first time ever. Went to the Broadford Footy Club. Was coming top 3 in their best and fairest. I got a call from Brody and said, we need help. We're going to get relegated. We've had so many injuries. We've had John Cock and a few other guys moving to state. We've had music moving to state. I just said to Gareth, how are you enjoying it? He said, look, I'm enjoying it. They're great guys. I said, Marby's in trouble. And he said, look, I just can't leave Broadford. They're great guys. Marby lost again. He said, Matt, you know what? Marby's my club. He said, I would be gutted if they went down. So he came back to Maribyrnong, took a pay cut, and has come just to play them from relegation and play his last game to the club. So he's just the most loyal, and he's the sort of guy you could take anywhere. And again, he's hot and cold. You know, he's been a bit undisciplined at times, but he's been fantastic for that club. And that's why the people within Maribyrnong Park have the utmost respect for him for what he's given to the club.
Matty, Adem, Saricaoglu here, mate. Very good to be able to hear your dulcet tones on EDFL Radio again, mate.
No, it's been great. I really follow you guys when I get the time, and you're doing an excellent job. And you know what? Well done to Mark Tariq, you and Teo and Pat is amazing. And you guys have done an amazing job this year. I reckon that you've listened to the bar and the media again, so well done, boys.
Listen, mate, back on today. How ironic is it that probably the biggest game in the last couple of years for Maribyrnong Park, and it's against Greenvale, one of your great modern-day rivals. It's going to be obviously a massive day. 2 clubs that have a lot of recent history against each other, and obviously the occasion's massive, even for Greenvale, obviously, because they need to play finals. So how ironic is it that you're battling for your lives today against your great rival, Greenvale?
Yeah, look, I actually said to a few people this week, I said, they've asked us, I've got so many phone calls in the last fortnight saying Maribyrnong Park, they're a massive chance of getting relegated, and I said, you know what, I said they play Greenvale, who need to win to keep their final chances, and hope Avondale will do them the right thing and beat Keilor, which I think is going to be an amazing game. And I said Greenvale Football Club would, and I know Bruce Kent, he's a great man. Dennis Beiser is a very good mate of mine, and a lot of the Greenvale guys, the devastation, they were absolutely gutted to lose 2009, which they finished undefeated on top, 18-0. And they were absolutely more gutted in 2010 because Marby Park finished fourth that year. Teo again would remember, and Adem would remember. But also Greenvale had finished on top that season, beaten Kilo in the second semi, gone straight in, and Marby Park just bullied him in the grand final and defeated him and won back-to-back, and you know, it really stirred him up. So, and then there was obviously, when I went to the Northern Footy League, I was on the board. I missed that game, but it was a really hostile final of Kilo, which Greenvale won.
Yeah, we were there, Matty.
Marby Park really physically... Yeah, Marby Park physically apparently gave him a bit of a beating in fighting, which was not good for football. But so the rivalry's huge. So I said to a lot of people, Greenvale would do nothing, or some of the angry Greenvale people who remember those bitter times at Marby Park but still has some hatred there would like nothing more to be the team that sends Marby Park back to B grade. And you know, I hope not, because I did a lot of work personally for Marby Park. There's no team I want to see get relegated, because I know Northern Saints, I know Essendon Stars, Packer obviously out of it. I know all those four sides don't want to go back, so there's no team I want to see get relegated. But to me, the work I did many years, there's a lot of time out of my business. It cost me financially out of my own pocket. I didn't have a lot of money.
Hey, Matty.
Yeah.
We need to wind you up in a minute, mate. But one last question.
No worries.
The elephant in the room. What happens if Maribyrnong Park get relegated? What happens to the club? Is there, you know... There'll be a fallout. There'll be player fallout. We know that there'll be player fallout. It happens at every time a club gets relegated. But you know, what will happen next year? Give us something.
Look, if they do, they'll be two things. They'll probably lose maybe 5 or 6. Werribee districts have a strong WRFL side. They have a strong ties with a lot of guys like Shebeki, the Lee brothers, Lee Johnson. I think it's their junior club. That's what I can project maybe happen, but from what I hear from the Brody now, these guys love Marby Park. I really don't know. I don't think they've thought that far because they're hoping to stay up. Robbie Costello's your mate. I know Robbie is more than likely to be the coach if they stay up next year playing coach, but I know Robbie is in two minds if they go back down. So all I can say is Marby Park's juniors, thanks to Mick Doran and friends, they won 216 flags last week. They have their under-18s finished 5th this year, I think, in A grade or Premier Division, which is unheard of for Maribyrnong Park. I think they won't be battling next year, but they'll be competitive. But it'll be hard times like it is for all sides to drop down. And guys, sorry for talking so much as well.
No, Matty, we're loving this. It's one of
That's what happens when I go on only once a year.
No, mate, this is why we wanted you on, just to get all that detail and information. We've got Adem Saricaoglu with another question for you.
Yeah, Matt, obviously
no worries.
The destiny of Marby depends a lot on our game, our broadcast game today, Matty, Essendon Duda Stars and the Northern Saints. And one thing we have missed since we haven't seen you on EDFL TV anymore since last year is the Matty Pillios analysis of just what's happening. Can you give us much in terms of what you're expecting for our game today, and perhaps a tip as well, because obviously what happens to Marby depends greatly on what happens here today, Nipper Jordan Oval.
100%, and that's what I've said to a lot of people. I've actually said that the last 6 weeks, Essendon Duda Stars will beat Northern Saints in the last game. They're a side that's been improving all year. They've got the home ground advantage. Northern Saints, physical side, but not as fitness and aerobically bigger on that big MCG-sized ground. But the last week, after talking to Caruso, Nat Caruso, knowing how confident he is, I thought if Northern Saints can get a fair 50-50 break with the umpires and come out well, I've got confidence that Northern Saints will actually win today. And in a day like this, I'll tip Northern Saints to win by a couple of goals if in the beauty of a game and stay up. And I think Marby Park will be saved, and I think they'll lose to Greenvale, not by a lot. But I'm tipping Northern Saints in an absolute cracker, and I'm tipping Essendon Duda Stars to be relegated. And I just think it's a shame because they're they're Premier Division club, Premier Division board, and side on paper. But I think Duda Stars may end up in B grade. But as you guys know, it could be any of the three, and I just wish them all the best today, all three clubs.
Matt, thanks so much for being generous with your time. I've loved this chat. You've just been so candid and honest and given us the history and just told us how significant it is that Marby are battling relegation today, going through all those good times and all the hard work that went into getting them up into the top division in the first place. Enjoy the game out at Marby today. For your sake, I wish you all the best with the result, and I look forward to seeing you round the traps come medal night and finals time.
For sure, guys. Thank you. I think I'm emceeing the Premier Division Grand Final, Windy Hill, so I'll see you guys there. Thank you, and enjoy the call.
Thank you very much. And as a special treat to the Marby fans, Greenvale fans, cover your ears. We're going to listen to the last 90 seconds of that infamous 2010 Grand Final when Marby went back-to-back.
Goes again, big fist from Chris Stewart. Goes to Greenvale's advantage because Johnson's chasing it back. Has to use it. Defensive flank. Curls around the boundary. Aloy marks uncontested. Now can go inside forward 50. They need a mark. They won't get one. Running to the ball and marking. And Maribyrnong Park are going to repel here because they've got the man behind the ball. And now Ayres takes the grab and... he just takes the grab on defensive 50 and chips over the top. He's got Stewart. No, it's Boyd, sorry. And Boyd takes the mark right in front of Steve McPherson. He's telling everyone to man up. 1 minute to go in the grand final. Here goes Boyd round the half-forward flank. What can they do? Bounces in front of Holland. He's in a foot race. He's in a foot race against Chris Burns. He can't win it, though. Gets the ball out. 60 from goal. Bailey. Handballs back inboard. Solomon just bangs it. Inside forward 50. It bounces. It bounces all the way to win the grand final. Solomon is kicked. 16-year-old kid. Unbelievable. The best moment of his life. What a moment. Solomon bangs it from 60 and Maribyrnong Park are going to win the A-grade premiership in the last minute. What a moment. What a goal.
Jack Solomon, the son of Johnny the Mac McNamara, kicks the winning goal in the Essendon District Footy League Grand Final. 30 seconds remaining. They're up by 9 points to Pellizzeri. A 16-year-old from Calder Cannons. Unbelievable scenes here at Windy Hill.
Terrific work by Holland. He identified the situation, drew 3-2 people at him to get that young kid on the outside in space. Terrific awareness by Holland. That's experience.
I'll finish the season off here in the last 30 seconds. In hard Randello. Gutsy he was in play, and it was Jones as well. As is. Umpire's going to ball up. Not long to go in this A-grade Westpac Grand Final. Maribyrnong Park lead by 11 points. A lot of tight players. Stewart versus Potter. Stewart wins a tablet. Lenny in hard. Falls in the hands of Broadman. He's been good all day. He goes for it. Livingston! Unbelievable mark! 30 metres out directly in front. And this grand final's all over here at Windy Hill. Maribyrnong Park will be back-to-back premiers in season 2010 as Luke Livingston lines up for goal to put him 17 points in front. He just chips it across to Kane McKenzie. They're milking the clock, and as umpire calls it back, time on, there's about 10 seconds remaining. Luke Livingston has it 30 metres out directly in front. Maribyrnong Park lead by 11 points. And they have won the 2010 Grand Final. Saw it at any time as Luke Livingston, the ex-Carlton champion, kicks the goal on the side. And Maribyrnong Park are the 2010.
And there it is, guys. That was what happened in 2010. Hard to believe that's 4 years ago. Gee, we were rough as guts calling that Jack McNamara goal through with a minute to go. But, well, if that doesn't fire Greenvale up for today's game, nothing will, guys. Just before we go to the break, a tip. Who's going to win that one? Greenvale Marby. And if it is going to be Greenvale, what do you think the margin is going to be?
Look, I think Greenvale will win by 7-8 goals. I think Maribyrnong Park have got probably their best team they've had for some time on the park today. So they're having a fair go, but I think Greenvale will get the job done.
Yeah, so many emotions that'll be going through this group today. Like you said, Adam, they're going to be pretty close to full strength, it seems, and they're going to be pretty high in emotion as well. So that might bring this game bring the margin back a lot closer. But Greenvale should still be too good. They've just simply got too much class, and they're desperate to play finals.
And Greenvale do have long memories because I know when they actually play Essendon Due to Stars, they remember the times when Due to Stars were in B grade, playing Greenvale and beating them by 200, 250 points. They'll remember what Marby has done to them, as Matty spoke about in the grand finals, and they'll do the job easy today.